Welcome to One-on-One with Colette Linden. Today we're here with Ward 1 Representative Brent Derochie. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Good. We've had a great conversation pre-interview, and
Yes.
I'm glad that you're able to be here. You were unwell at the time we were doing Ward 1.
Yes.
So we're throwing a mix in this week. We're throwing in a Ward 1 with some Ward 4 candidates. So
Well, thank you so
okay.
much for allowing me to participate.
Of course.
Yeah, I was ill and
Yes.
wasn't able to talk without coughing.
Oh, wow. And does it, well, not in the COVID days anymore, but once we're out and about and people are coughing and
Right.
it always felt so, hey, get away. But we are very happy to have you in the studio. Brent, like I said, we were discussing beforehand and we found a common goal, our common interest, which is infrastructure. So we will be getting to that. But you know what? Tell me a little bit about yourself and tell everybody else about yourself.
Well, again, I'm Brent Derochie, and I am retired. And I've been retired for about a year and a half. And my background is in construction in regards to aerial and underground utility cables, water treatment, and wastewater facilities.
Oh, okay, wow, that's quite a. And we were just talking about you're running fiber optics in the QW area, which,
Yes.
as you know, is a very big area. So, plenty of expertise and experience there. So, looking at your campaign, see fiscal responsibility as you listed as your #1 bullet item, which I don't think anybody would have a problem with. But why don't you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, I believe that if we are, as a whole, aren't fiscal responsible for the funds that we're spending, the city will not be able to have the money to move forward with the projects that need to be done.
Yes.
If we're going to keep spending our money foolishly, is what I would say, in regards to projects that we were already told we are not going to get the funding for due to the fact that we already have this infrastructure in place within the proximity.
That's right. That's right. Well, let's talk about some of the projects that are currently in the works in our city. A lot of projects were put into plan, or maybe not planned well, but put into play and haven't been finished or brought to fruition. As a taxpayer, I know that you want to be fiscally responsible. So what about current council made you say, hey, you know what, enough's enough, I'm throwing my hat in?
Well, as my wife and children had said, quit complaining and do something about it. So I threw my hat into the ring in regards to I'm not in favor of doing projects that we have been told by our own experts and also by the provincial government and federal government that we are not getting funding due to the fact that we already have these infrastructures in place within a close proximity. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't be doing something down in the downtown core, but not at the expense of the taxpayers for projects that I believe we should have put the money in elsewhere. We're talking about crime all the time. We could be putting the money into rehab centers with programs that So and we have opened this conversation up to every candidate. Pretty much, it's sat where you're sitting right now. Is, you know, what are the major issues in the city? Crime, mental health and awareness, homelessness, affordable living, and it always seems to everybody is in agreement that a hub center perhaps might be most beneficial to those who need assistance, because it's not just, you know, okay, well, great, here's 2 weeks or 28 days, and off you go, Sally, and Right.
that. You know, there needs to be some more compassionate care.
Right. I believe that if we keep on the program that we're doing now and sending little Johnny and Martha out after the 8 or 12 week dry out program, the first bump in the road that they hit, they're back to their comfort zone. They'll move back where their friends are, and then it's just a cyclical again. They would be back into the program. I believe that we would have programs in place with experts and psychiatrists, psychologists, and more funding, and have coaches for teaching them a life skill. While they're in the dry out program, so that when they are through that part of it, they can be integrated back into the community with some sort of a life skill, and then have programs on the back side of it, so that they can keep coming back for more help, and so that we can have a success rate. And I believe that if you can curb that, crime will come down, because they are conjoined.
They do. They are. It does go hand in hand, as we know, and there's statistics that will support that statement. I like that idea very much. I feel to learn a life skill, or to have someone there to give them something other than what they've been used to look forward to.
Right.
To educate themselves.
Right. I believe that we need to look after them holistically. So the whole approach. We must look after the mental health part alongside of the other issues.
Addictions.
Right.
Okay, we're almost at infrastructure, so I'm getting a little bit excited. But let's talk a little bit about environment and climate change, or affordable housing. Like, what is, when you're going out in Ward 1, first of all, what in Ward 1, was it, was there something that you thought, like, oh, I just can't, I need to do something? What in Ward 1 needs some attention? I've
been on the campaign trail for a little better than a month now, and I'm door knocking along with my signs, and I write down an awful lot of what the constituents want, and I think the biggest thing is you must listen to them. And because a lot of the Ward 1, where I've been going, because I am retired, and I start around 10:30 in the morning, I'm reaching a lot of senior citizens, and they believe that just because they have gray hair, that people think they don't have any gray matter. I believe that our senior citizens have an awful lot to offer, and that we must listen to what they have to say. Now, I also have a lot of younger families in Ward 1, and one of the major things that's happening is that a lot of the families are saying that they can't get their children into swimming lessons due to overcrowding of the pool. So there's a life skill that is required. We live on the water, so I believe, why don't we take some of the money that we spent elsewhere, and why aren't we looking at another pool instead of another arena, or another, the money, I think it was $1.5 million they're putting for an artificial arena. I'm certain that we can take that money and place it elsewhere. Yes,
it is a very specialized area in which you spend $1.5 million, and that, yes, it is a hockey town. And I'm sitting here because my sons are hockey players, so I get the artificial ice for certain training aspects, but $1.5 million is quite significant. Right. Which could go to potholes. Let's go infrastructure time.
Well, my background is in infrastructure, so I believe that roads are a huge concern in this city, and our potholes are being band-aided. I'm not a huge fan of band-aids. No. I don't like the fact that we use cold patch, or we'll use a number 3 grade asphalt that just crumbles. It's a lower quality. It just crumbles after the first 10 vehicles. I believe that when we do our road work and we're digging holes in our road, we must abide by the way the holes have to be filled. That when you put gravel back in, you must tamp them every so often, so that you're not only tamping the top part, because over time it'll sink down, and then it just created another pothole. Absolutely. So we're spending so much money on Band-Aids. I believe we must look after the underground first, and at all possible, if we have to save more money, it's better in the long run to do a proper job than Band-Aid, because we're going to spend more money in the long run that way.
Well, absolutely, and then you're going to end up ripping up the entire roadway, because it's so many different areas that they've filled, Band-Aid wise. And every year, this is going to be my 3rd winter in Sault Ste. Marie, and so 2 years I've seen the same areas the potholes being fixed.
Yeah, so. and I believe with our construction that we do on our roads, they're all over the place. in this city, and we end up with potholes due to the fact from all this construction. Because I don't believe that they're not following, well, I shouldn't say all of them, but most of them, they're not following the procedures on really how to fill the holes properly. So.
Well, that knowledge at City Council would be greatly appreciated. Okay, Brent, I could sit here and talk to you all day. I like everything that's on your flyer. What is something that you would like to share to those watching today? And unfortunately, our interview time has to end shortly, but what's something you would like to leave with?
Well, I'd like to say thank you very much for all the well wishes that I've had from friends and family, and congratulate all the candidates out there for putting their hat forward, and to all the constituents throughout the whole city. October 24th is the day that we need you to help us move the city forward.
Yes, and I thank you very much for bringing that point up, Brent. Another issue that I do like to talk about is voter engagement and the importance of going out to vote and making a difference. And I do want to point out that your transparency and openness is exactly how all municipal government should be run.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you having that as one of your goals as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. That's all the time we have for today with One-on-One with Colette Linden. Have a great evening.